The rain hammered the lecture hall windows like it had a personal grudge against silence. But nothing drowned out the screech of Christian's pen against his notebook. I shot him a glare sharp enough to cut glass, my own essay unraveling in my lap because his endless fidgeting had me counting the seconds until I could bolt. "Dude, can you not?" I hissed under my breath, only for him to smirk, that infuriating dimple flashing like he owned the damn room, and in that split second, as thunder cracked outside, I realized this was the start of something that would shatter my world wide open. I never asked for a desk mate, especially not one who treated every class like his personal TED Talk on chaos theory. It was sophomore year at NYU, the kind of crisp September in Manhattan where the air smelled like overpriced coffee and impending regret. Our Intro to Urban Sociology seminar was crammed into a stuffy room on the 5th floor of Bob's library. All fluorescent lights and creaky wooden desks bolted together in pairs like some twisted arranged marriage. I'd claimed the window seat for the view, the Hudson River glinting under the sun, a reminder that there was life beyond midterms. But then Christian Hale slid into the spot next to me, dumping his backpack like it was a mic drop, and from that moment, peace was a pipe dream. He was the epitome of that effortless cool you hate because it's real. Tousled blonde hair that looked like he'd just rolled out of an indie flick. Sharp jawline shadowed with just enough stubble to scream, "I don't try," and eyes the color of faded denim, piercing when they locked on you, which was never a good sign. The 20. He was a transfer from some podunk liberal arts college in Vermont, majoring in film studies with a minor in making everyone else's life hell. His first words to me, "Move your shit, Goldilocks." This is my side now. I wasn't even blonde. My hair was a nondescript brown that frizzed in humidity, but the nickname stuck like gum on a subway seat. That first class, Professor Ramirez droned on about gentrification in Brooklyn, her voice a soothing monotone that almost lulled me into productivity. Almost. Christian, meanwhile, was a one-man demolition crew. He'd tap his foot to some invisible beat, click his pen like Morse code for annoy, and whisper snarky asides that had half the row stifling laughs. "See that hipster over there? Bet his artisanal beard is made from recycled dreams." I ignored him at first, scribbling notes on how rising rents displaced low-income families, but his elbow kept invading my space, brushing mine like it was accidental. By the 10th nudge, I snapped. "Personal bubble. Ever heard of it?" He leaned in, breath minty with that fake fresh scent from the vending machine downstairs. "Bubbles pop. Alex. Lighten up." How did he know my name? Oh, right, the syllabus. Everyone's name was on it, but the way he said it, like we'd been frenemies for years, set my teeth on edge. The hook of the semester was set. Every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m., I'd endure the Christian Hale experience, counting down to the sweet relief of dismissal. It didn't help that outside class. My life was a carefully curated fortress of normalcy. I was Alex Rivera, 21, psych major with dreams of clinical work in the city, helping kids navigate the mess of growing up queer in a world that still side-eyed you for holding hands on the subway. I come out in high school back in Queens, survived the awkward family dinners where my mom crossed herself a little too often, and now I was out and proud, but low-key. Hookups at pride parties. Yeah. But nothing that stuck. Stability was my jam. Late-night study sessions with my best friend Roger. Greasy slices from Joe's Pizza, and runs along the West Side Highway to clear my head. Roger was the een to my young tall, lanky, with that easy grin and curly black hair that made him look like a young Denzel Washington. We'd met freshman year in dorms, bonded over bad cafeteria food and a shared hatred for our race curfew rules. He was straight, or so he claimed, but our friendship was the kind that blurred lines. Sleepovers after binge-watching The Office, inside jokes that had us howling in public. "You're my person, Riv," he'd say, slinging an arm around me without a second thought. It was safe, uncomplicated, until Christian started chipping away at that. Week 2. The assignment hit. Pair up for a field report on community displacement in the village. Fate, or Professor Ramirez's sadistic seating chart, paired me with him. "This is bullshit," I muttered as we packed up. Christian just grinned, slinging his bag over one shoulder. "Lighten up, Goldilocks. It'll be fun." Think of it as urban adventure therapy. I wanted to throttle him. Instead, I agreed to meet at Washington Square Park that Saturday, figuring neutral ground would keep things civil. The park was alive with buskers strumming guitars and tourists snapping pics of the arch. But Christian showed up late, nursing a massive iced latte and wearing aviators that screamed, "I'm too cool for punctuality." We wandered the village's side streets, him narrating like a tour guide on acid. This was where Dylan crashed in the 60s. Bet he hated desk mates too. I rolled my eyes, jotting notes on a faded mural about queer history. Ironic, given how out of place I felt next to this golden boy who probably thought LGBTQ was just a catchy acronym. As the sun dipped, we hit a dive bar on Bleecker for research, his idea, naturally. The place was dim, sticky-floored, with a jukebox crooning Springsteen. Over cheap IPAs, he dropped the bomb. "So, what's your deal, Alex? You got that brooding artist vibe. But psych major? Spill." I shrugged, sipping to buy time. "Just trying not to fuck up my life." Honesty slipped out unbidden. "Grew up in a big family. Catholic guilt's a bitch. Came out at 16. Survived. Now, just existing." He nodded, no judgment, which threw me. Vermont was the opposite. Small town. Everyone knew your business. Dad's a logger. Mom's a teacher, salt of the earth. But they freaked when I told them I liked guys. Said it'd ruin me. His voice cracked just a hair. And for the first time, the armor slipped. Christian Hale. Human? I filed it away. But that night, texting Roger about the insufferable prick, I omitted the part where Christian's laugh, low and genuine, had lingered in my chest like an echo. Classes blurred into a rhythm of irritation laced with intrigue. He'd steal my highlighters, doodle caricatures of the prof in the margins of my notes, me as a stern Freud, him as a smirking Warhol, and once, during a heated debate on income inequality, he quoted Baldwin so flawlessly I forgot to hate him for 5 whole minutes. Roger noticed the shift first. "You talk about this guy more than your thesis, dude." Crushing. I laughed it off over ramen at his off-campus apartment in Brooklyn. "Nah, he's just persistent. Like a rash. But rashes don't make your pulse stutter when they lean too close, or leave you replaying their offhand, see ya, Goldilocks like it's a mixtape." By mid-October, the leaves turning fire orange along the East River, we'd fallen into an uneasy truce. Study sessions turned into hangouts, him dragging me to indie screenings at the Angelica, me introducing him to the best halal cart on St. Mark's. He was out too, casually mentioning exes like it was no big deal. A snowboarder from Boulder, a barista with tattoos up his arms. "None stuck," he'd say with a shrug. "Guess I'm high maintenance." I envied that nonchalance. My own history was a graveyard of almosts. The high school boyfriend who ghosted after prom. The summer fling in the Hamptons that fizzled under family pressure. Roger was my anchor through it all. The one who'd held me after heartbreaks. Whispering, "You're too good for them, River." But as Christian's chaos seeped in, Roger's texts felt obligatory. "Busy week?" I'd ask. "Yeah. Shoots for the film club," he'd reply. Lies, I sensed, but chalked it up to senior stress. The turning point came during a brutal nor'easter that shut down the subways. Class was virtual, but Christian texted, stuck in the dorms. Beers on the roof. Against my better judgment, I trekked up in the sleet, finding him bundled in a beanie, 2 cans of Yangling warming his hands. The city skyline was a hazy glow through the storm, and for once, he was quiet. "Ever feel like you're just waiting?" he asked, voice barely above the wind. "For what?" I pressed, our shoulders brushing for warmth. "For something real. Not this scripted bullshit." His eyes met mine, vulnerable, and in that suspended moment, with rain mixing salt on our lips, I leaned in just a fraction before pulling back. "You're not what I expected," I admitted. He smiled, soft. "Ditto. Goldilocks. We didn't kiss. Not then, but the air crackled with possibility." Back in my room, heart hammering, I ignored Roger's missed call. This was dangerous territory, the kind where annoying desk mates became lifelines. Little did I know, the real storm was brewing closer to home. November swept in like a bad blind date, chilly, unpredictable, and full of red flags I pretended not to see. Christian and I were inseparable now, in that college way where boundaries blur into late-night confessions over diner fries. We'd upgraded from park benches to his tiny walk-up in the East Village, a shoebox apartment with peeling posters of Brokeback Mountain and a mattress on the floor that screamed, "Starving artist." It was there, one fog-shrouded evening after a screening of Moonlight at IFC, that things escalated. The film's raw ache hung between us as we stumbled through his door, cheeks flushed from cheap Merlot. "That scene with the beach," he murmured, shrugging off his coat. "Hits different when you've lived it." I knew what he meant, the quiet terror of first touches, the world narrowing to one pair of eyes. We collapsed onto the couch, a thrift store relic sagging in the middle, knees knocking, and suddenly his hand was on my thigh, tentative. "Alex," he whispered, like a question. My breath caught. This was the line we'd danced around for weeks. I turned, cupping his face, stubble rough under my palms, and kissed him. It was messy, urgent, tasting of wine and want. His lips were softer than I'd imagined, parting with a sigh that undid me. Hands roamed, mine under his shirt, tracing the lean muscles of his back, his fisting my hair, pulling me closer. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, and he laughed that dimpled, disbelieving sound. "Fuck. Goldilocks." That was. "Yeah," I echoed, heart thundering. We didn't go further that night, just tangled in the sheets, talking until dawn about everything and nothing. His fear of turning 30 without a legacy, my dread of becoming my father's ghost, distant, disappointed. Waking to his sleepy grin and the smell of burnt toast, his specialty. I felt seen in a way Roger never managed. Roger. Shit. I hadn't told him. Guilt gnawed as I texted a vague catch up soon. He replied instantly. "Everything good?" I typed yeah. just swamped, hating the half-truth. Our friendship had always been my safe harbor, but now it felt like an anchor dragging me down. The high carried us through Thanksgiving break. I flew home to Queens, stuffed myself on my abuela's pernil, and dodged questions about that boy from school with deflections about exams. Christian FaceTimed from his parents' cabin in the Adirondacks, snow dusting his hair like powdered sugar. "Miss your annoying face," he teased, and I believed him. Back in the city, we dove headfirst into us. Stolen kisses in the stacks at Bob's, his head in my lap during Central Park picnics, fingers laced under the table at dim-sum spots in Chinatown. He was still chaotic, blasting Phoebe Bridgers at 3 a.m., leaving dishes in the sink like modern art. But it charmed now, a counterpoint to my Type A lists. Yet cracks spiderwebbed. Roger's distance grew. Our weekly hangs dwindled to sporadic coffees, where he'd check his phone more than listen. "Film club's killing me," he'd say, but his eyes darted away. I confided in Christian over hot cider at a holiday market on Union Square, fairy lights twinkling like promises. "Roger's my oldest friend. Feels like I'm losing him." Christian squeezed my hand, breath fogging the air. "People change, Alex. Or maybe you're changing." He was right, but it stung. That night, Roger invited me to his apartment for old time's sake. Movies and pizza. No strings. I went, craving normalcy. The place reeked of weed and takeout. Fairy lights strung haphazardly. We cracked open The Godfather, our ritual, and halfway through, buzzed on microbrews, he turned to me with that lopsided smile. "Remember freshman year? You were so buttoned up, like a lost prep school kid." I chuckled, but tension hummed. His arm draped over the couch back, fingers brushing my shoulder. "You've loosened up." "Happy?" The question hung heavy. "Yeah," I said, shifting away. "Someone's good for me." His face tightened. "Jealousy? Nah, couldn't be." Roger was straight, my rock. But as the credits rolled, he leaned in, lips grazing my temple. "Proud of you, River." It was platonic, I told myself, but the touch lingered like a brand. I left early, texting Christian, "Miss you," from the train. His reply, "Come over." Now. We made love for the first time that night. Slow, exploratory, his body fitting mine like a missing piece. Afterward, curled against him, I whispered, "I love you." He froze, then kissed my forehead. "Love you too, Goldilocks." It was terrifying, exhilarating. This was real. Winter quarter ramped up the pressure. Finals looming, our field report due, and whispers of internship offers. Christian aced a short film pitch on queer invisibility in media, his passion lighting him up like the Rockefeller tree. I landed a spot at a crisis hotline, channeling my own scars into helping others. We celebrated with rooftop champagne, stolen from a party, the city a glittering sprawl below. "To us," he toasted, clinking plastic flutes. But Roger's silence was deafening. A week went by without a word. Worried, I showed up at his door unannounced, finding him disheveled, eyes bloodshot. "Riv, hey," he stepped aside, the apartment a mess of scripts and empty bottles. "What's going on?" I demanded, heart sinking. He collapsed onto the couch, rubbing his face. "It's nothing. Just processing." Processing what? The words tumbled out. He'd been questioning things, his identity, our friendship. Seeing you with him flipped a switch. I think I like guys. Like you. My world tilted. Roger, my straight best friend, confessing, it was a gut punch, rewriting years of trust. I need time, I said, bolting before the tears came. Christian was waiting with takeout and the Princess Bride. I spilled it all, ugly crying into his chest. Betrayal? He echoed, stroking my hair. Nah. Confusion. But it hurts. I get it. He held me through the night, his steadiness a bomb. We submitted our report A+, with prof notes on our palpable chemistry, and for a moment, equilibrium returned. New Year's Eve, we watched the ball drop from his fire escape, fireworks blooming over the skyline. This year, he murmured, nuzzling my neck. We make it ours. January thawed the ice, but not the chill in my veins. Roger and I talked. Awkward, halting coffee at a midtown Starbucks. I'm sorry, he said, voice cracking. Didn't mean to drop this bomb. I nodded, forgiving because that's what friends do, but trust was fractured. Just be honest from now on. We hugged goodbye, platonic again, but the air felt charged, like static before lightning. Christian sensed the unease, doubling down on romance. Surprise tickets to Hamilton, scalped. Naturally, love notes slipped into my backpack. It was intoxicating, this bubble we built amid the grind. But bubbles, as he once said, pop. Mine did on a sleety February afternoon, post-class, when I overheard him on the phone in the hall. Yeah, Rog, tell him it's nothing. We're good. My blood ran cold. Roger, what the hell? Confrontation brewed like the storm outside. That evening, at our favorite taqueria on Avenue A, I laid it out. You've been talking to him? Behind my back. Christian's fork paused mid-air, guac dripping. It's not like that. He reached out, needed advice on coming out. Thought it'd help you to patch things. Lies or half-truths. His eyes pleaded, but doubt seeded. Promise me, I said, voice steel. No secrets. He nodded, sealing it with a kiss, but the trust I'd rebuilt with him now teetered. Spring crept in with cherry blossoms along the high line, mocking my inner turmoil. Our relationship deepened. Lazy Sundays in bed, debating Foucault over brunch, but Roger's shadow loomed. He started hanging around again. As friends, group outings to karaoke bars where he'd belt Bohemian Rhapsody too close to me, eyes lingering. Christian laughed it off, but tension simmered. One night, after too many shots at Rogue, Roger cornered me in the bathroom. I miss us, Alex. Before him, his hand on my arm burned. Stop, I whispered, pulling away. I'm happy. Was I? Christian's chaos now felt like a whirlwind, pulling me from solid ground. Yet his touch grounded me, his I love you's a mantra. We planned a weekend getaway to the Catskills, cabins, hikes, no cell service to reset. Packing my bag, I felt a flicker of hope. This could work. But as the train rattled north, Roger's text buzzed, "We need to talk. It's important." I deleted it, choosing us. Little did I know, the betrayal was already in motion, a freight train barreling toward collision. The Catskills were a fever dream of green, mist-shrouded peaks, wildflower trails that wound like veins through the earth. and a cabin so rustic it boasted a wood stove and zero Wi-Fi. Christian drove us up in his beat-up Subaru, windows down, blasting the National's High Violet as if soundtracking our escape. "No drama, just us," he declared, hand on my knee, and for those 48 hours, it was true. We hiked Cotterskill Falls, water thundering like applause, made love on a quilt by the fire, bodies sinking in the crackle of flames, whispered futures under star-pricked skies, grad school for me, Sundance for him. "You're my plot twist," he said, tracing my collarbone. I believed him, the world shrinking to his heartbeat. Back in the city, reality crashed like a hangover. Finals week was a gauntlet, all-nighters fueled by Red Bull and resentment for sleep. Christian holed up editing his thesis film, a gritty short on hidden queer lives in the Bronx, while I crammed case studies on trauma recovery. Roger, mercifully, kept distance, though his Instagram stories, moody black and white selfies captioned "Finding Myself," twisted the knife. I unfollowed, focusing on us. Graduation loomed, a capstone to this chaotic year, and with it, decisions, my internship in Manhattan, his potential move to LA for pilot season. But paradise has serpents. One humid May evening, post-exam bliss, Christian suggested drinks at the Stonewall in cheeky nod to history. The bar pulsed with laughter, rainbow flags fluttering like prayers. We claimed a corner booth, knees touching, toasting to survival. That's when Roger walked in. Alone, at first glance, but his eyes scanned until they locked on us. "Fancy seeing you here," he said, sliding into the seat uninvited. Christian stiffened, but played cool. "Hey, man." Celebrating, what followed was a minefield of small talk laced with subtext. Roger's exploration of dating apps, Grindr mentions that made my stomach lurch, Christian's evasive nods about post-grad plans. I excused myself to the bar, needing air, and that's when it hit, Roger's hand on my waist in the crowd, breath hot on my ear. "We were good together, Riv." "He doesn't get you like I do." Panic surged. I shoved him off, whispering fury. "Back off. You're drunk." But his eyes, hurt and hungry, followed me back. Christian clocked the vibe instantly. "What the fuck was that?" he demanded once Roger slunk away. I spilled, cheeks burning. "He's lost it. Thinks there's still something." Christian's jaw clenched. "A storm brewing." "And you?" "Nothing. I chose you." We left early, the cab ride silent, tension thick as humidity. At his place, makeup sex was fierce, clawing, claiming, but dawn brought the reckoning. "We can't keep this up," he said, voice raw. "Roger's poison." I agreed, but fear gnawed. Was our love resilient, or just reactive? Summer unfurled sticky and surreal. I started at the hotline, fielding calls from teens echoing my past. What if they hate me? Christian waitress at a Soho bistro, charming tips out of tourists while pitching scripts at coffee shops. We sublet the studio in Williamsburg, exposed brick, fire escape garden, our first real nest. Mornings were magic, coffee brewed black, his head on my chest reading The New Yorker. But Roger's orbit pulled. He landed a production assistant gig on a Netflix series. Suddenly everywhere, industry mixers, rooftop parties where he'd accidentally brush my hand. The betrayal brewed slow, pot left too long on simmer. It boiled over at Pride, that electric June weekend when Manhattan became a sea of glitter and grit. We marched with NYU's contingent, Christian's arm around me, chanting "Love is love," amid the thump of bass and cheers. Roger was there too, with a group from his film crew, rainbow face paint streaking his cheeks. Spotting us, he veered close, slurring slightly from pregame shots. "Look at you two. Power couple." Sarcasm dripped. Christian bristled. "Jealous much?" What happened next blurred in the heat. Roger's shove. Playful? Aggressive? Sending Christian stumbling into the crowd. I lunged, yelling, "Enough!" Fists flew in a scuffle that drew whistles from parade monitors. Security broke it up, but not before Roger's parting shot. "He's mine. Hail." Always was. We retreated to a nearby bar, Christian nursing a split lip with ice, me shaking with rage. "That asshole," I fumed. "How long has he been like this?" Christian's eyes darkened. "Longer than you think." The confession came in fragments over the next week, as we licked wounds in our AC-chilled apartment. Turns out, Roger had been venting to Christian for months. Texts at odd hours, bro advice on his sexuality crisis. "He said he loved you," Christian admitted, voice hollow. "Before we even. You know, my heart fractured. All those late-night talks. Roger's arm around me, it wasn't just friendship. He'd been waiting, hoping. And Christian? He'd kept it quiet to protect me." "You should have told me," I whispered, tears hot. Trust goes both ways. The fight that followed was epic. Yelling that echoed off brick walls. Accusations flying like shrapnel. "You're jealous," I accused. "No. I'm scared," he shot back. "Scared you'll run back to safe. Familiar." He stormed out, crashing at a buddy's in Bushwick. I called Roger, not for reconciliation, but clarity. "Why?" I demanded over the line, voice breaking. Silence. Then, "Because I saw you first. He stole you." Petty, painful truth. We hung up, bridges burning. Alone in our bed, sheets cold without him, I unraveled. Memories flooded. Roger's laugh at midnight movies, Christian's dimple in sunlight. Two loves. One a foundation cracked, the other a roof caving. Days blurred into a haze of work, voicemails from callers mirroring my ache. I don't know who to choose, irony bitter as black coffee. Christian returned on a thunderstorm night, soaked to the bone, eyes red-rimmed. "I'm sorry," he said, dripping on the welcome mat. "I was wrong. Keeping secrets. It's not love." I pulled him inside, towels and tea following. We talked till lightning faded, raw, unfiltered. His fear of losing me stemmed from his own ghosts, an ex in Vermont who'd cheated, leaving him adrift. "You're not him," I assured, lacing fingers. But we rebuild trust. Together. Forgiveness was tentative, a sapling in scorched earth. We attended couples counseling through NYU's Queer Center. Awkward at first, but cathartic. Roger faded to the periphery. He texted an apology. I fucked up. "Be happy," which I read but didn't reply to. Summer waned, our bond mending stronger, laced with vulnerability. Christian's film screened at a local fest. Standing ovation, his hand crushing mine in the dark. "We did this," he whispered. Pride scars faded to stories, badges of survival. But fall semester loomed, bringing its own tempests. Christian's LA offers multiplied. agents buzzing about his voice. "What if I go?" he asked one crisp September eve, leaves swirling in Bryant Park. My internship extended, rooting me here. "Then we try long distance," I said, throat tight. "We've survived worse." Kisses sealed it, but doubt whispered. Could annoying desk mates become forever, or was this just another chapter's end? As classes resumed, new seats, new faces, Christian slid beside me anyway, pen clicking defiantly. "Old habits," he grinned. I rolled my eyes, but leaned in. Roger passed us in the hall once. Nod curt, eyes averted. Closure. Bittersweet. Life, I realized, wasn't linear. It zigzagged through betrayals to breakthroughs. And in Christian's chaos, I found my compass. October's chill bit deeper than usual, mirroring the frost creeping into our plans. Christian's phone buzzed incessantly. Voicemails from a CAA junior agent. Emails with subject lines like, "Pilot season opportunity." We ignored them at first. Cocooned in denial. Brunches at Sarabeth's, where we'd split pumpkin pancakes and pretend geography was negotiable. But reality stalked us like a tabloid fatigue. One night, over Low Main in our Williamsburg lair, he spread printouts across the coffee table. A table read in Silver Lake, callbacks for a queer rom-com series. "It's huge, Alex." But me," I finished, chopsticks pausing. The words hung, unspoken fears bubbling. Long distance? I'd seen friends crumble under it. Time zones eating conversations. Jealousy festering like mold. "We could make it work," I said, forcing brightness. "Weekends on Southwest. FaceTime dates." He nodded, but his eyes, those denim blues, clouded. "I don't want to lose this." Us. We made love fiercely after, as if bodies could bridge miles. But sleep evaded me, his snores a metronome to my dread. Roger reemerged like a ghost at a Halloween bash in the village, costumed as Ferris Bueller, ironic given his recent spiral. I was Dracula, cape from a thrift bin. Christian a slacker James Dean in jeans and a white tee. The party thrummed in a loft. Fog machines. A playlist heavy on Gaga. Bodies grinding under strobe lights. We stuck close, his hand possessive on my hip, but Roger cornered me by the punch bowl. "Looking good. Fangs." His grin was sharp. "Sober now. Heard about LA. Sucks." "Yeah." I sipped spiked cider, wary. "Timing's shit." He leaned in, voice low. "You deserve better than chasing. Stay here. Build something real." Was this concern or sabotage? Before I could snap, Christian appeared, arms snaking around my waist. "Problem?" Roger backed off. "Hands up." Just chatting. The rest of the night blurred, dancing to exorcise tension. Christian's whispers in my ear. He's history. We're now. But seeds of doubt sprouted. Christian's additions ramped up. Self-tapes in our living room. Monologues that left him drained and distant. I'd come home from shifts at the hotline, voices of despair still echoing, to find him pacing, script in hand. "What if I'm not enough?" he'd mutter. Not to me, but the mirror. I'd pull him down, remind him of our Catskills vows, but cracks widened. Roger, meanwhile, thrived. His Netflix credit led to invites, a glow-up that chafed. He texted sporadically, "Coffee? No drama," and against instinct, I agreed. Neutral ground, I told myself. At a cafe in Flatiron, Amid the clink of laptops, he was earnest. I was an asshole. Jealousy blinded me. Apology accepted. Walls lowered. Turns out, he'd started dating a sound guy from set, steady and sweet. Makes me see what I almost wrecked. We laughed about old times. Dorm pranks. That disastrous road trip to Niagara. For an hour, felt healed, friendship salvaged. Tell Christian I said congrats on the gigs, he added. I did, over dinner that night, and Christian's smile didn't reach his eyes. Careful, Goldilocks. Ghosts bite. November brought Thanksgiving redux. My family in Queens, his folks zooming from Vermont. Abuela cornered me in the kitchen, arroz con gandal steaming. That boy, Christian, he makes you shine. Mijo, her blessing, hard one, warmed me. But LA's pull intensified. An offer came, a recurring role in a Shondaland drama, filming starting January. Celebration sex was euphoric, but post-coital talk turned tectonic. Come with me, he urged, tracing my jaw. Defer the internship. Adventure awaits. Tempting. Terrifying. My roots are here, I countered. Family. Work. It's my path. Argument simmered. His dreams versus mine. Selfishness masked as sacrifice. So I'm the chain? He accused, voice rising. No, you're the whirlwind, I shot back. Door slam. Silence. He crashed at his sister's in Harlem. I wandered the Brooklyn Bridge at midnight, winds whipping tears. Was love enough against ambition? Reconciliation came via Roger's intervention. Unbidden, but timely. He showed up at my door with empanadas from his new guy's spot in the Bronx. Christian called me. Panicking. We talked, really talked, him admitting his past sabotage stemmed from fear of losing me entirely. Don't make my mistake. Fight for it. Wisdom from the betrayer. Life's ironies. I texted Christian, bridge. Now. We met under the towers. City lights fracturing on black water. I'm scared too, he confessed, hands shoved deep in pockets. But I choose us. LA with visits. Calls at dawn. Deal. Deal. Seal with salt-lipped kiss. Manhattan's pulse affirming. December dashed by in a flurry. Holiday markets at Union Square. His rap party where he dedicated a toast to the one who stayed. Roger joined us for New Year's truce tentative, but real watching confetti rain from his rooftop. To messy beginnings, Christian quipped, arm around me. Roger's date, a quiet guy named Marco, nodded solidarity. Healing, plural. But January's Eve brought the axe. Christian's flight to LAX was booked. My sublet renewed solo. Packing his duffels was ritualistic agony. Folding teas scented with his cologne. Zipping away our shared life. Airport goodbye was cinematic. JFK's bustle fading as we clung in the security line. 6 weeks till I fly out, he promised. Voice muffled in my neck. Love you, Goldilocks. Love you more. His wave disappeared into the scrum, leaving me hollow. The void hit like withdrawal. Williamsburg echoed empty. Hotline calls blurred into my own loneliness. Roger stepped up, movie nights. Runs along the East River. His presence a bridge. Not a threat. You're stronger than this, he'd say. No undercurrent. Christian's text sustained. Sets insane. Miss your laugh. Video calls at odd hours. His face pixelated but passionate. But distance amplified fissures. Missed connections, jealousy over his co-star's Instagram, innocent. I knew. My unspoken fear of fading. February's Valentine's was virtual. Rose delivery to his trailer. My candlelit solo with Thai takeout. This sucks, he admitted, screen glowing. But it's temporary. Was it? Whispers from mutuals. LA's temptations. Parties where he networked late. Paranoia poisoned. I snapped during a call about a rap bash. Just go wild. Forget me. Hurt flashed. Is that what you think? Hang up. Radio silence for days. Rock bottom. A breakdown at work. Sobbing in the break room after a caller's suicide attempt mirrored my spiral. Roger found me later, bar hopping in the LES. Call him, he urged, shoving my phone. Voicemail poured out. Raw, rambling apology. Christian called back at 3 a.m. his time. I'm coming home. Fuck the role. No, sacrifice wasn't the answer. We fight smarter, I said. Therapy, schedules, trust, pact renewed, fragile but fierce. Spring bloomed tentative. His show greenlit for season 2. My promotion to full-time counselor. He flew in for Easter. Our reunion at LaGuardia a tear-streaked embrace. Missed this, he breathed, hailing a cab. Weekend was reclamation. High line strolls. His hand in mine. Nights tangled. Reaffirming. Roger hosted a dinner. Marco's paella. Toasts to resilience. To not being dicks anymore, he joked. Laughter healed. Yet climax loomed. May's Film Fest invite. Christian's short. Now expanded. Premiering in Tribeca. Roger co-produced a segment. Full circle. Rehearsals consumed him. I supported from sidelines. Pride swelling. Premiere night. Velvet ropes. Flashing bulbs. He dedicated it to the desk mate who stole my heart and my highlighters. Crowd roar. My chest burst. After party buzzed. But Roger's whisper pulled me aside. He's the real deal. Don't doubt it. I didn't. But as credits rolled, a call came, his agent, with a bombshell, led in a Spielberg project, filming in Vancouver. Ultimatum time. Over diner pie post party. He laid it out. It's once in a lifetime. But if you say no, heart in throat, I chose. Go. We'll figure it. Kiss bittersweet. Future unwritten. June's heat wave mirrored my inner boil. He left again. This time with promises of summer visits. Days stretched. Roger became confident. Our bond purified, brothers now. No more. You'll be fine, he'd say over beers. But fine was a lie. Ache was constant. Then, the storm. A late-night call. His voice wrecked. I cheated. World ended. Details tumbled. A co-star. Post-rap drinks. One mistake. Betrayal. Second verse, worse. Because I'd trusted harder. Why? Sobs choked. LA's lonely. Stupid. Hung up. Blocked. Curled fetal. Roger arrived at dawn, holding me as dawn broke. Breathe. River. Rage. Grief. A maelstrom. I quit the sublet. Crashed at Roger's platonic sanctuary. Days bled. Runs till lungs burned. Hotline shifts on autopilot. Christians please. Flowers. Letters piled unopened. Roger steady. You're enough. Slowly. Fury ebbed to sorrow. Summer solstice. I met him at the bridge, neutral, symbolic. "It's over," I said, voice steady. "You broke us." Tears, hugs, goodbye. Healing began jagged, therapy solo now. Pride marched alone but empowered. Roger introduced Marco's circle, new friends, tentative dates. Fall semester, new desk empty, notes my own. Life, resilient, regreened. Autumn's palette painted Manhattan in ambers and crimsons, a canvas of quiet rebirth. Without Christian's chaos, my days sharpened into focus. Morning jogs along the Hudson at dawn, when the city's hum was a whisper. Shifts at the hotline where I poured scars into solace. Voices on the line finding echoes in my own mended fractures. Roger was a constant. Our friendship, once tangled, now a straight path. Sunday barbecues in McCarran Park, his laughter a buoy. "See, world didn't end," he'd tease, flipping burgers, Marco at his side, their easy affection a model of unforced love. But ghosts lingered. Christian's film won accolades, Tribeca buzz turned Oscar whisper, but I watched from afar, unbitter. A package arrived in October, his script, inscribed for the muse who taught me heartbreaks humanity. Forgive, see. I read it cover to cover, a queer odyssey of betrayal and redemption, thinly veiled us. It hurt, then healed, a mirror to my growth. No reply, but I kept it on the shelf, talisman of survival. Winter whispered second chances. December found me at a holiday market in Columbus Circle, mulled wine steaming, when fate or coincidence intervened. Roger dragged me for festive therapy. His arm linked mine. Amid the twinkle of lights and scent of pine, there he was, Christian, bundled in a peacoat, signing posters for a indie screening. Our eyes met across the crowd, shock, then softening. He approached, hesitant. "Alex, you look good." "You too." Awkward beat. Then Roger melted away, discreet wingman. We wandered the stalls, small talk thawing to depths. "LA's a beast," he admitted, fingering a wooden ornament. "Wins, yeah, but empty without you. Honesty, raw." I fucked up. Epically. "Therapy's my new co-star." I nodded. "Walls permeable now." "I've been healing." Roger's been huge. Mention sparked no jealousy. Growth's gift. Coffee turned to walks, snow dusting our shoulders like confetti. He spoke of isolation's toll, the party's facade, the ache of our silence. "You were right, trust or bust." My turn. The void he'd left. Roger's redemption. My promotion to lead counselor. "I chose me," I said simply. And it stuck. Respect gleamed in his eyes. "Proud of you." Goldilocks. Nickname. Once irritant, now endearment. No grand reunion that night. Just a hug under the tree at Rockefeller. Prolonged, poignant. "Friends?" he asked. "Maybe more. Someday." Optimism. Cautious. He flew back. I returned to routines. Lighter. Spring 2026 bloomed with possibility. Roger's wedding to Marco. Intimate. Rooftop in Brooklyn had me as best man. Vows exchanged under cherry petals. "To messy roads," he toasted. Eyes misty. Christian sent a card. "Thrilled for you both." Subtle olive branch. June's heat revived old rhythms. An email. Christian directing a play off-Broadway. Queer ensemble on lost loves. Come see. I did. Front row. Heart in throat. Post curtain. Backstage. Champagne. Cast mingling. Killed it, I said. Genuine. He pulled me aside. Script in hand, our story evolved. This is us. The redemption arc. Kiss followed. Tentative then true. Fire rekindled. Tempered by time. Summer courtship was deliberate. Dates at Coney Island. Cotton candy kisses. Weekends in the Hamptons. Borrowed from Roger's connections. No rush, therapy joint now. Unpacking baggage together. You're still annoying, I teased over Ferris wheel creaks. And you're still uptight, he fired back. Dimple flashing. Laughter. Love's solvent. Fall brought equilibrium. His play extended. My caseload thriving. We moved, cautious cohabitation in a Chelsea walk-up. Views of the river that started it all. Desk mates no more, but partners, his scripts on the table, my journals beside. Roger visited. Marco in tow. 4 of us building a chosen family, barbecues. Board games. Betrayals banished to backstory. Climax came unscripted. A winter eve. Snow blanketing the city like forgiveness. Rooftop. Under strings of lights. Christian dropped to one knee. Not ring, but promise. Marry me? Not now, but when we're ready. Because nothing prepared me for you, but everything led here. Tears froze on lashes. Yes, whispered fierce. Wedding was ours. June 2027. Rooftop in the village. Roger officiating with rye vows. From annoying to anchor, he quipped. Vows echoed. You broke me, rebuilt me. I choose you, chaos and all. Rings exchanged. Simple gold bands etched with plot twist. Years folded forward. His Emmy for that Shondaland arc. My book on queer resilience from desks to destinies. Kids came later, adopted twins. A boy and girl with his curls. My freckles raised in stories of redemption. Roger godfathered. His family intertwined. Life's not fairy tale. It's mosaic, shards of hurt, hues of hope. Christian still clicks pens. I still list. Roger still meddles, lovingly. But in the quiet, his head on my chest, city humming below, I know annoying desk mates become legends. And nothing betrayal, distance, doubt, could prepare for this love, vast as America itself. In the end, it's human, flawed, fierce, forever.